some people might call it failure, but failure is really just an opportunity to learn and grow. And if you don't make mistakes, you don't learn and grow. And so that's always been, I don't know where I adapted that from in my childhood, was that you have to make mistakes to learn. So even though I am that rigid person who likes things to be right, I've learnt that I'm human and it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to admit to those mistakes and own up to those and just be authentic and be yourself, because you will attract the right people who will appreciate you for being you and who will support you along your journey.
True
Yeah.
that. But do you think failures are important in life?
Oh, absolutely. It's only one step away from success, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so sometimes, often that would come up balancing clients, that fear of failure and that fear, of getting it wrong and trying to be perfect. And
Thank you. Thank you for underlining that part for me, because I think it'll really help our listeners that failure is only a gateway to your next step of success. And failure is overrated in the society that we live in the world that we live in. That Hi everyone. Have you heard this quote? Life is an expression of your own mind. You are the creator of your universe. Hi, my name is Rachna Khanna, and welcome to our post, Daily Life Hero. I'm very excited today because I have someone I absolutely love her. I absolutely admire her. I absolutely just imagine how beautiful she is, the way she carries herself. She is a phenomenal friend, a phenomenal healer, a phenomenal coach, and a phenomenal person, a human. It's been nearly 9 years that I've known her. Our journey started when we worked together for an organization. She sat next to me. And you know what? Whenever I used to sit next to her, I always felt so safe. I always felt nice, warm, loved. She introduced me to something incredible, the world of essential oils. And now I can't imagine my life without them. How cool is that? About 8 years ago, we held a transformative masterclass where we introduced essential oils to my group of friends. We also spoke about healing, Reiki, and neuro linguistic programming. The experience was so nice. It bonded. We bonded as a group. She brought so much love and care with her. Everybody still remember that was one of her class. It also ignited a passion journey for mutual care through social media. Of course, she has been my friend. She has been someone who has always been there in some shape or manner to offer her support. In the years that followed, I witnessed her commitment to caring for others with her intuitive healing abilities. When I was challenged with my own life, when I lost my brother, and I could not see myself doing any better, she was there to hold my hand. She was so gentle to offer her love, care through her sessions. She graciously offered me a session that changed my life. And I'll tell you what that session was in some time. It was a divine intervention. Sometimes the smallest step in the right direction ends up begins with the biggest step of your life. And that was my dear friend. When, of course, she healed me with her sessions, I was much stable and I could take and make my decisions in a direction which helped my life where I am today, where I'm hosting this podcast today. It would not have been possible if I did not take that first step and joining with her. I'm so grateful to her that she opened her arms and welcomed me that I was seen and I was healed under her care and support. And today I want to celebrate her. Today I want to welcome her. Today, I want my listeners to know that what magic she did to me. And today, I'm able to do what I love doing it. I became a life coach, and one part of that what I'm grateful is her, is because she held me and she made me strong enough that I could make that choice in my life. And I cannot wait for all of you to meet my dearest friend, Belinda. Let's put our hands together and welcome Belinda Aditya. Yay, you're here.
Hello, Rachna. Oh, what a beautiful, heartfelt introduction.
Thank you.
Oh, it was beautiful listening to everything you shared and reminiscing back to how we met in those days and reflecting on our journey and where we are today. Absolutely beautiful. I nearly reached for the tissues at one point myself.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
And I mean
Oh,
every word of it well because
oh,
I could not
imagine.
be here. Yeah.
Oh, bless, 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 bless.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much. You
you.
are such a beautiful person inside out from the day I met you and today. And I want
Oh,
people to know I cannot contain this beautiful person with me. I have to share that there's so much that you offer. I have not mentioned your expertise because I want you to share with us.
yes.
Want our listeners to know who you are, what great abilities you have. And I cannot wait to start our journey and conversation together. Are you ready?
I look forward to it. I'm very grateful to be here and thank you for inviting me along. Yeah, really touched. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm so excited now. And I really want our listeners to just be on the edge and get to know what a beautiful person and what a gift it is to be just in your company. So I
Oh.
cannot wait to start now. And I am curious and I'm wondering, I know a part of it, but I do not know. And if that's okay with you, to share your significant journey, what shaped you who you are today, if you
Oh,
don't mind sharing your story with us.
yeah, and I guess it's not one particular incident that shaped me who I am today. I have walked an interesting life and I have been through a lot, especially in my childhood. I've experienced a lot of trauma. And I think what's shaped me who I am today has been my attitude towards all of that. Even though I didn't have that guidance, I had this inner knowing, which is my spiritual side, that's guided me to just see challenges as an opportunity to grow, to learn. And yeah, I definitely have been through a lot. And one day I will write a book when I figure out how, because that's also a challenge for me, is putting it all into words. And because I have learned so much, yeah, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start. But what I do know and what I have learned that it is possible to change your life. It is possible to have what you want in life or be who you want to be in life. It's up to us to step out of our comfort zone and create the changes.
Mm,
Yeah. So yeah, and look, my childhood journey, and my parents did their absolute best. And I love them for that, but I grew up in a very dysfunctional family.
mm,
I learned a lot from that experience, but my other siblings have stayed in that space, whereas I've sort of broken away and learned and grown, and a bit like the black sheep, I guess. So yeah, the story I have to share will come out one day. And I'm not sure how and when, but I can feel it's getting closer. And I have learned a lot about energy and people and your thoughts creating your world and reprogramming and changing that inner being to reflect on a better outer world. Yeah. So
Mm.
not sure if that all makes sense, but maybe as we keep chatting, I guess, because I'm a kinesiologist now,
Yeah.
uh, and we do tap into the inside of people and find out the imbalances and help reconnect people to guide them along to what's
Mm.
possible for their journey.
Mm. Mm.
So it's about creating change, and it is about stepping out of your comfort zone and believing in yourself. It's
Mm.
not easy to do that. It's easy just to stay with what we know, then
Yeah.
go into the unknown. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, love that. I absolutely appreciate and respect that. Yes, and I'm looking forward for the book that you will write it. You do not know how, but I am so sure that your why is big enough, and that's why you want to do this, and you want to bring that story. And whenever you're ready to share that, we are ready to read it because I would be the first one to put my hand up that yes, I want to hear it because I know there is so much that you can inspire people. And I totally respect that if you're not ready to share your story, would you like to share something that really challenged you and you said, it stops and I really want to do this now? What was that turning point in your life that is that, okay, I know that's enough and I want to change it and I want to change the direction how my life is going to flow?
I guess first of all, I'd like to say it's not that I don't want to share my story, it's just my story would probably shock a lot of people.
Mm,
And so
mm,
there's a time and place for that,
mm,
for what I've been through.
mm,
And I don't I don't recall there being one particular incident that made me stop and create change. I just always just had to claw my way out
mm,
through
mm,
the challenges. So I I learned that it was possible. And I don't know, I guess being that spiritual being that I am, I always just attracted, the universe just gave me little signs. So
mm,
I always just had that, back in the past, I used to be a hairdresser. So I used to just always just have that client that would come along that would just plant that little seed or drop that little bit of information or guide me off to here or there or and so I was just open. Yeah, I was just open. So I always knew that there was more to the body and life. And I've always been curious to go deeper because
yeah.
that's the soul that I am. I've got that ability just to see things and pick up on things quite easily with life and people and read people. So I just had that awareness. I just had that curiosity.
Mm,
Yeah. And being so young, being exposed to my spirituality, astro traveling and seeing spirit and different things so young, I learned that there was also another world out there as well. So yeah, I can't really pin it to one particular incident. It's just been an ongoing awareness
mm,
and inner guidance
mm, mm.
that's got me to where I am today. And look, we all have challenges in life. Absolutely, we do.
Right. Mm.
Yeah, and that's life. It's how we show up and face those challenges and how we get through those challenges. That's the challenge.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. And I love that how you just said it, that it's not that I don't want to share my story. It is that there is always time and place that you want to share your story. And I absolutely respect that. And as I said, I'm curious and I would love to know your story. And I'm ready. And I'm ready whenever you are. And I would love you to share with the world because I feel you are so intuitive. You are so naturally very giving. I have never felt when I'm with you, whether we started in an organization back then, about almost 9 years ago, I felt there was someone who was taking care of me without even talking to each other. I
Mm.
knew that you had that skill set. Remember the essential oils that you were wearing, the peppermint oil. And I was like, oh my God, my headache is all gone. Yeah, you can try it. And you offered me with generosity that, no, you can try it. I'm not going to charge you for that. And I was like, wow, who does that? Who
Yeah.
does that? Who have that caring nature of supporting people to go through life is tough. Life is tough. Hi,
Yeah.
here's something to keep you going through that. And I totally respect that. And I know for a fact, when we were working together, I knew that you always followed your heart. You
Mm.
always followed your heart that, no, this doesn't ring a bell with me. I don't feel comfortable doing that. And I'm not going to make sure my body does not feel uncomfortable. And you
Mm.
did that. And I used to wonder, what is she saying? Sorry, because I was not introduced to something that, this is possible. You claim you. But I knew there was something about you was different, which I could not point out then. Now I know, of course.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
I'm so grateful that we have this connection today. That little thing. Who can imagine being a hairdresser, being an expert in the essential oil field? Expert when I say that you know exactly what oils does. You can offer that assistance that you can try.
Mm.
I absolutely love the world of essential oils, and I offer people, okay, do this if you want to cure this, or if there is a headache, or if there is a stomach ache, this is what you can do. Of course,
Mm.
there are other things that people have to do it. They need to listen to their body, and then coming to you and asking you, oh, tell me, where can I learn Reiki? You knew everything. Okay, go to this and you can get a beautiful coaching from them or a lesson or Reiki certification from them. And then kinesiology. I knew you were so passionate in following that when we were working then and when we did our master class. You knew exactly it was a hard subject, but you gave your heart and soul. And I
Mm.
didn't understand, to be honest, then why is she so passionate helping people? There has to be some story behind it that she just wants to help people. She knows there is a way to out. Tell us something about that. When did you think that kinesiology is something that you would love to explore and do it? And you did it. I'm an example of that. You did those sessions, and that's how I got my platform that I want to be a life coach. Thanks
Mm.
to you who I am today, because you gave me that platform, you gave that stepping stone to me that I can move forward. So I would
Mm.
love to know how that happened, and what was the direction or intuitive feeling that you want to do that.
First of all, back on talking about the heart, one little quote that I always resonate with for me, I always say your heart is your compass.
Yes.
Yeah, your heart will always guide you. And I've always followed that. And I've been and done, I've lived 9 lives. So yeah. And and again, it's just following that heart. And often we can get caught up with the head. I call it the head and heart battle. The head will go, oh no, logically, we should do this, or it makes more sense to do this. But our heart's just pulling us to this path. And we've got to take that step. And so for me, how I became or how I discovered I wanted to do and study kinesiology and become a kinesiologist was, I think, first back in year 2000 when I was living in Byron Bay, because I'm from over East originally.
Yeah.
I was studying Ayurvedic medicine.
Mhm.
And back then people were like, what's Ayurvedic medicine? And again, I just got guided towards that. I was managing a guest house, hairdressing part-time, and studying Ayurvedic medicine. So I was quite busy. And yeah, I just connected to it. I just connected really strongly with it. And it was close to a 2-year journey of study.
Mm.
And it was fascinating just learning about the body and learning about the imbalances and the dis-ease in the body, and how a good 60% of it is lifestyle
Wow.
and diet
Mm.
and mindset. And I was like, wow, yeah, that totally resonates, because when we're born, if we're not born with any birth defects, we're a perfect functional human being. And then throughout life, all of a sudden we might have this pain here or something here, or this has changed, or things aren't how we want it to be. And I've always been curious to understand on a deeper level why. And so after studying Ayurvedic medicine, I went traveling for 10 years.
Wow.
So I'm not lying about living 9 lives. and and obviously I gained a lot of life experience there because I learned to let go from what most people had, was that family stability, which I didn't have, and create that inner peace and stability within myself. And the biggest challenge was deciding where to go next. So I was working my way around with managing accommodation, ski lodges, bed and breakfasts, bit of hairdressing, bit of hospitality, whatever, living in ski fields mainly in Japan, went to Europe, all around Australia, all Europe. So yeah, I knew that when I was ready to settle down, that there was this strong calling for me to study another modality. I thought it was going to be Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, because that's something I've strongly resonated with and something that's been one of my tools to go to for support as well. And so then I landed in Perth. And then so then I discovered the essential oils, which back in the 90s, I used to have this essential oil book and carry that around with me. And I was always, interested in the way things used to be before things really developed in the Western medical line. So I've always been curious. And then I landed in Perth, and then that's when we met and I got into essential oils. And definitely through that journey and that vibration of the healing properties of those essential oils, I think really helped open me up to seeing, okay, now you're ready, but what's it going to be? And 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 I guess because I've learned to just trust myself and believe and follow my heart as a compass. I was just energetically putting it out there. And next thing, I went to the health food store in South Fremantle, and they're called the Novo magazines. They're like those health magazines. They have like the basket out the front. And I grabbed one of those and went home, flicking through, and I saw study kinesiology. For some reason, it jumped out at me, and I went, oh, that college is not far from me.
Wow.
I was like, okay. And then I thought, yeah, I had a kinesiology session back down in the Snowy Mountains in early 2000s in between ski seasons. Yeah, it was pretty profound. And then I didn't think anything more of it. And then we were working in that corporate job. And next thing, it came up on Facebook, an open day for the kinesiology. And our shift used to rotate, whether we'd have the early shift or the later shift. And the open day happened to be an evening. And I happened to be on the early shift that week. And I looked and I went, that lines up. Oh, maybe, yeah, no, I'll go along to that and have a little look. And then I didn't actually commit. I just thought about it. And I thought, okay, yep, no problem. And then something happened again. I can't remember now. And it popped up again. Maybe that Facebook ad popped up, and I thought, no, I must action that. I must do that. I'm curious. I'm feeling the pull. So let's just go along. So I went along, and yeah, after that, I signed up and it changed my whole life. So I was balancing working full time and then studying on the weekends. So I'd go 2 weeks sometimes where I'd work 5 days, full weekend study, 5 days before I'd get a day off. But because it's such a beautiful modality where we get to give and receive the balances of kinesiology sessions, I didn't feel like I was studying. So, I mean, we did do a lot of, a lot of science and anatomy, physiology of the body. And, there were times where definitely I had to learn, put my head down. But yeah, so yeah, that's sort of how I believe I got guided there.
Mm-hmm.
because I wasn't looking to become a kinesiologist.
Mm-hmm.
I was just open and ready. And again, just finding that space within myself from all those years of traveling,
Right.
just trust and ask and you shall receive. You are the
That's
creator of
it.
the universe. You
That's
know, so, and another saying I learned along the way from a traumatic experience, from a positive outcome, was this man said to me, he says, humans are like radio stations.
right.
What frequency you put out is what you attract. And I had someone stalking and harassing me at the time.
Mm.
And I thought to myself, I just need to change my channel. I'm giving this person fear. They're thriving on my fear.
Mm.
So so just putting that into play and practicing that. So I'm just hearing this little noise next to me and thinking, my dog's being pretty quiet. But he's found a pair of socks and he loves chewing on socks.
Same.
Luckily, I'm spring cleaning and they're in the pile that I don't need them. So he can chew on these socks. Sorry.
That's okay.
So yeah, so that's how I was. Uh, it was time. I was asking. I was open. I was guided, and that was how my journey began. And that was back in 2013. So I
Yeah.
actually think it's been longer than 9 years since we've met, Rachna.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be 2015 because 2014 I landed in Perth. So
Okay.
yeah, I remember 2015.
2015. Ah,
Yeah,
yes.
we joined. Yeah.
2015. Yes, it would have been. Here I am
Yeah.
thinking 2013. No, it was,
Yeah.
yes, I was commuting to Bali then. No, it was 2015. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so yeah, that's sort of how that happened for me. And nothing's by chance. And
Yeah.
again, that was that follow your heart. Your heart is your compass. I just kept getting that energetic pull and I actioned it. I thought, what have I got to lose? I'll go along to
Yeah.
the open weekend and just see what it's all about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was really flexible and possible to still work full time and study.
Yeah.
And then gradually, then I made changes
Yeah.
and went into the weekday in and worked part time. And yeah, so it started creating the changes that I needed to move forward into a different space because the job I was doing wasn't my passion.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And that's where I wanted to be. Yeah.
Such
Yeah.
a beautiful journey. You know, Belle, if I were to just put it into few words, it is such an intuitive, inspirational pathway that you chose. And it sets so well when you says your heart is your compass.
Absolutely.
And, it was just giving you the messages, like, how the compass will move this way, even if you wanted to go this way, but your heart compass was ready to go there and you chose that. So it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of bravery to be on the pathway and to contribute and do what you did. Because, hey, life is not easy. There are so many living strategies that you have to have in the pathway, and you did that anyway. I
Mm,
remember our conversations would be like, no, I'm not feeling drawn to this particular thing. I'm not drawn to doing these things. And you were so clear. And it takes a lot of courage to do that. And in some way, yes, at that point of time, also Belle, you inspired me because I knew I'm not meant for this. I want to do something else. I want
mm,
to inspire people. But I did not know then what I
mm,
had to do, what my purpose was. So thank you for what you have done because I
mm,
think this is very important for our listeners. And this is from Tony Robbins. I keep telling it to people, whosoever I meet, and I coach people that when you're born or you're conceived, not born, when you're conceived in mother's womb, the first thing to develop is your heart and then
mm,
is your brain. So
mm,
something that comes in your body first, which is in your heart, is most likely something that is meant for you. And
mm,
you are absolute a legendary example of that. That yes, follow your heart. At
mm,
least when you follow your heart, you know exactly what your pathway will look like. And there is no, the feeling of, oh my God, what did I do? You don't feel lethargic, you don't feel lazy, you don't feel heartbroken because this is what you chose. This is what you're choosing to be.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
thank you for reiterating the fact that what resonates with you in your heart, do it.
Mm.
Because, this is such a beautiful thing you said, and so much is coming in my head right now that if you choose what you love, you're never going to regret it. You're
No.
always going to remember it fondly because life skills is meant to make your life easy, not hard. And that
Yeah.
is such a beautiful life skill that you have created for yourself. At least
Yeah.
I'm someone who got that gift from you. And
Oh, but you already had it there within you. I think it was just timing. It's just timing. And it's just pure timing because our life journeys are all so different and we can never compare each other, and we should never compare ourselves to each other because we don't know the story of everybody has a story as well, and we don't know the story of what they've been through or what where they're going or what's happening. And so it's just timing, and it's often fear that holds us back. And if we're meant to find our way to that, we will. We absolutely will. So it's just pure timing. And all I do is just reconnect you for you just to shine and walk the path and create those changes. So, I don't fix or cure anyone. I just reconnect
yeah, yeah,
connect their systems, reconnect the energy. Yes, you might learn, or you will learn some things about yourself along the way, and you'll learn how to do things differently. And what all kinesiologists say is without change, everything stays the same. So that's the first thing. We have to stop and look and go, well, what do I need to change here? What can I do differently? How can I do that differently? Because if we don't create that change, we're not going to see things different.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and that's what we do is we facilitate that change. And it's hard to understand how that works because we're just muscle monitoring and we're tapping into the body, but we're just connecting energy systems and bringing up things, but it's your body we're reading. Your body will tell us when it's safe to bring something up if it needs to come up.
so true.
So the only thing people have to do is just take that step and want and believe.
Mm,
And the rest can happen. You just have to keep showing up and
mm,
have trust and faith, and
mm,
obviously find, who you resonate with for
mm.
that guidance. And it doesn't have to be kinesiology, it can be a life coach, or it's just about reaching out and finding that
Yeah, any
support
modality.
when you need it, because we can't do it on our own. Like I haven't done my life on my own. I've always reached out for support, or
Yeah.
yes, I've got that spiritual connection where I'm open to the signs, but everybody does. So sometimes we just have to open ourselves up to that, and
Mm,
then we have to act upon it. So yeah, like, you know, yeah, it's all about just being the best person we can be in this life's journey, isn't it?
yeah,
And learning and growing,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I love that. In between, you're giving so many golden nuggets right now. And nothing changes if nothing changes. That is one of the biggest things that people forget. Yeah,
Yeah.
change is only permanent, but if you don't see, you don't see it.
Yeah.
And if you don't see it, you don't change it, and nothing changes.
Yeah, doing the same thing every day and expecting things to be different won't happen. Yeah, we have
Mm,
to stop and look and go, what can I do differently? And sometimes we mightn't even be able to see that picture, and that's perfectly fine.
mm,
And that's when we support
yeah,
someone else to help keep us accountable and guide us. And yeah, so and I believe that you always find that person who's going to support and guide you, because they just pop up. They just come on your radar. You just learn about them, or you see it, or different things. Like something that's just popped up on my radar is family constellations. I don't know if you've delved into that, but I've been following it for a few years, and all of a sudden I went, it's time to go do that. I've got no expectations. I've just got that pull that I need to go and do that workshop. And it's a weekend workshop I'm doing in second weekend in October.
Mm.
Yeah. And again, it's just following that
Yeah.
heart to compass. You just know.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to expect or what's going to happen, but I know it's going to help clear some of those family patterns,
Mm.
which I've already broken away from, but also help that healing process,
Mm.
which is forever ongoing, I believe. My journey is anyway. I don't think you ever stop, and different life stages, different things, So yeah, I went, now it's time to go do that. Let's go do that.
Mm.
Let's just go along. What have you got to lose? Nothing. You're only going to gain. And that's just how I see life. So
Mm.
yeah.
Love that. Love that. Now, I do not know if how will this question land, but I'll ask anyway.
Yeah, sure.
Do you feel scared or fearful sometimes of doing something new?
Oh, look, I think, yeah, absolutely. We all do, because the mind will play out and go, oh, is that the right thing to do? Should I do that? Should I not? And I guess what I've learnt through my life is it's okay to step into that space. So
Mm.
it does, the more you do it, it becomes easier, like what I just shared then, that weekend workshop that I'm doing, that
Yeah.
I don't even really have any expectation except for I know it's time to go do that. And maybe 2 years ago, I've been watching it, not sure, but all of a sudden now I know. So again, it's just trusting timing. But yeah, absolutely. We're all human. And oh my gosh, I have many fears. Absolutely. I'm not a person who likes roller coasters. I have a fear of water. I didn't learn to swim as a child. I've learned to swim as an adult. I've been hypnotized. I've done all sorts of things. I'm much better in on boats now and things like that. But yeah, I've learned to not let that feeling consume me and take over me.
Mm.
And I remember years ago when I was first asked to do a podcast through the kinesiology community, how scared I was to do that. But how I knew, I don't know, I just find that determination to push sometimes. And sometimes I'll go, no, that's not for me today.
Yeah.
And then maybe sit with it for a bit. But yeah, absolutely. Oh no, I'm not this fearless person. No, not at all.
I love
But
that. Yeah.
yeah, but with life, I've learnt to take those leaps. And what have you got to lose? Some people might call it failure, but failure is really just an opportunity to learn and grow. And if you don't make mistakes, you don't learn and grow. And so that's always been, I don't know where I adapted that from in my childhood, was that you have to make mistakes to learn. So even though I am that rigid person who likes things to be right, I've learnt that I'm human and it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to admit to those mistakes and own up to those and just be authentic and be yourself,
Mm.
because you will attract the right people who will appreciate you for being you
Mm.
and who will support you along your journey.
True
Yeah.
that. But do you think failures are important in life?
Oh, absolutely. It's only one step away from success, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Love
Yeah. And so sometimes, often that would come up balancing clients, that fear of failure and that fear, of getting it wrong and trying to be perfect. And normally there's a story behind that.
that.
And I think the two things that pop into my thoughts, just hearing myself speak out loud, is one, acceptance and our perceptions. So I feel these two things cause us a lot of pain
Mm.
when we can stop and go, well, what am I not accepting in this situation?
Mm.
We can see things differently. And sometimes some things we don't want to accept them, but this is what we're being faced with whatever challenge it is.
Mm.
So the best thing is to go, okay, well, let's just reposition and look at how can I accept that? And what were my expectations? Did I have this benchmark, which normally we do?
Mm.
I'm a high achiever, absolutely. But I've learned to go, well, I can only do my best, and that's enough. And I can just keep trying
Mm.
and to be compassionate with myself along the way. And yeah, so yeah, I hope that
Yeah,
answers your question. I know I went
absolutely.
on to so many things pop into my thoughts around that.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
it. Thank you. Thank you for underlining that part for me because I think it'll really help our listeners that failure is only a gateway to your next step of success. And failure is overrated in the society that we live in the world that we live in. That, oh my God, failures, because the way it has been defined in the world, that if you fail, oh my God, you're not good enough, which is not true. Failures only give you another way, another pathway that, okay, this is not the right way, there is another way to do it.
but really, when you question that, what is failure?
What is
It's our mind or expectation that we didn't succeed at that. But perhaps where we are is where we're meant to be because it might be redirecting us onto a different path or showing us a different opportunity. But yet we go, oh no, we failed. No, we didn't achieve that, is what we classify as failure.
Mm,
But
mm,
sometimes, as I said again, timing, maybe we need to redirect, maybe we need to be doing something totally different. We think that that's what we need to achieve,
mm.
but the universe has another plan for us,
Yeah.
and that's not where we're meant to be. So, yeah, what is failure really?
It is.
It's this pressure we define as not achieving what we think we need to, isn't it?
Yeah, true,
But
true.
really, we're all where we're meant to be. So, yeah,
Yeah. And mistakes are only a part of life. It's like, you know, positivity cannot be without the negativity, and darkness cannot be without the light.
yin
Even
and
in the
yang.
darkest moment, there is light. Even in the positive moment, there is something negative. It's a part and parcel. It's a coin, and it has both sides, and that's what life is all about. And
Absolutely.
still, it is so overrated that people will become modest. No, 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 that's not meant for me. Or people would become, maybe I can't do it. That imposter, that comes and takes over. That, oh my God, I can't do it. I don't think so. That's unnecessary. No, that's okay. Mistakes are normal. The more we generalize it, the more we make it normal, the more it is easier for us to celebrate the pathway and the journey rather than just the, oh, I achieved that goal. Hey, uh, you know, from the time that I have transitioned into my new role, life role here as a coach, I've realized that my mistakes made me who I am today. And I am super grateful to my mistakes and the learnings and the failures and the rejections. They're all me, they're all part of me, and I love them equally. Because if they were not me, I would have not possibly be here where I am today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you've got to embrace all of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having that love and acceptance and just looking at our expectations. And that is a common theme I've found working with people is having really high expectations instead of just going, okay, let's just and trying to pre-plan things out. It's like, well, yeah, we need to have goals and visions, but let's just also go with the flow of what's being presented and enjoy these moments and stay grounded and be in the now time.
So
Yeah.
true. Being in the now. Oh my God, another golden nugget moment. Being
We
in
could
the
talk
now.
forever.
Yeah. Being in the now, people just we are either living in past or we're living in future. And that makes our anxiety or depression because people think that there is no pathway, but the pathway of now is the excellent pathway because you just have to live now and be conscious of the fact that, oh my God, I'm breathing. I am now.
The only moment we have is right now,
Yeah, that's it. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
you have visions, you have plan, but if you don't live them now, how would you live in future? So live them now. The power of now is amazing. I have learned.
Oh,
Wow, this
absolutely.
is beautiful. I love this conversation. And I was wondering if you could share with our listeners, you did touch upon this, you did touch upon this topic, but I would love you to share if you have any ritual or any ways that you show self-compassion to yourself on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, look, I think being kind and gentle to myself, and so rituals, well, I think it's a holistic approach really. It's having healthy boundaries in place, I would say would be one of the big ones.
Mm,
So eh, I can create time for me to fill up my love cup, to do the things that resonate in my heart space, that bring me joy
mm,
and fulfill me and keep me vibing high. And so not taking on too much. I have, different little morning rituals where I still do my Ayurvedic. I don't have caffeine anymore now. So I have rooibos tea with ginger, and I have my quiet mindfulness time in the morning. Sometimes I'll meditate, sometimes I'll do stretching, I will go and do exercise. But the last sort of nearly 12 months, I've discovered my passion for crocheting.
oh, wow. That's
And
another hat.
and so I find it's like a form of meditating because it's connecting. But yeah, I get this end result of making all these beautiful things. Yeah, and I allow that space in the morning for me
Mm,
before I start my day. So
mm,
I will go to bed early and get up early, and I allow that space for me.
mm,
And then obviously, go off into my work day. And same for the evening, I wind down. So I have a cut off sort of around the 8:30. I try and switch off to responses, and I've set my phone to go into the wind down, and I do different little things, whether I'm crocheting, relaxing my nervous system on posture pole. But yeah, just being kind to myself really, and being grateful and not pushing myself, having healthy boundaries to
mm,
do things for me and my personal self-love and care. So things like, I still go along and have all different healing sessions myself, walks in nature, I do Pilates, I do different workshops. I
mm,
just stop and relax as well, sit under my barley heart, hang with my dog, with my husband, the beach, full driving. So just different things, yeah.
mm,
Where I'm not just always striving. So it's that I believe it's about balance in
mm,
life for
mm,
you. So yeah, obviously all mindful things around just de-stressing your body, because we do live in a really fast-paced world now. Technology has come in and
mm,
it's just getting faster and faster.
mm,
So yeah, and I recharge by spending time alone as well.
mm,
Yeah, so I spend a bit of time alone just doing my mindful things, and I enjoy that as well. Yeah, so it's a combination of a lot of things really, but really I think it's about balance. And I've learnt that, if I don't achieve that today, like, this time of year, it's the weeds and the
mm,
retic in the garden because my husband works away. And, I've got a few things on my list. And if I don't achieve it today, there's always tomorrow. And so it's about just slowly, momentumly moving forward and doing little, just chipping away. They say you can eat an elephant one bite at a time. So, yeah, if I've progressed in some way, and you know what, if I have a day where I don't and I just totally want to switch off,
yeah.
and that's progressing as well. So it's
Yeah.
acceptance.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. You know what? In just few words, you have actually given so much to our listeners that there is not one way to just fill your cup. There are more than one ways that you can do it. You said something which I really love, and I insist our listeners and myself, if they can follow at least once a week, That is a legendary action they will do to fill their cup, is switch off their
Mm,
electronics, mobile appliances.
absolutely.
After 8, just give your time to you. Just sit in silence, be alone, what you mentioned. Just
Mm,
be with you, know your body, scan your body. What are you feeling? What is going on? And
yeah.
just slowly wind down and be with you. And I have done that, Belle, because I remember when I was having a conversation, can I invite you to be my guest? And you said, all right, I'm going to switch off my mobile phone. I'll be in touch with you. I said, oh my God, you inspired me that day as well. And I tried doing it once and I said, I want to do it. How does it feel like? And in all honesty, I woke up fresh. I woke up fresh, and my intention is to do it slowly every day. So
Mm.
I did take that action after I spoke to you. And I said, this is magical. Because when I think, Belle, I can say that for us, when you and I were growing up, there were no electronics or mobile phone or gadgets that we had.
No, there wasn't.
We
No.
just watched stars and slept. I
Oh,
I gazed at star and slept, and it was beautiful sleep. And I would get up fresh, apart from whatever trauma that we had in our life. But that sleep was meant world to me because I could be with me and the stars.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm aware too, because sometimes when a message will come through right at that switch off point for me, which was what happened with yours, that people see that and then they go, oh, they haven't replied. And I don't like that. So I thought, I'll just let you know, I'm just switching off now, I'm winding down, but I'll get back to you soon.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because sometimes things can happen right on that switch off
Yeah.
point. So
Yeah.
yeah, otherwise then it takes you into a whole different journey for the next hour. And next thing it's like 9:30 and I'm like, normally I'm in bed by now and I'm relaxed and switched off. So yeah, I do honor that. And I think it's important to just stop, pause, and I love silence now. Love it. So I actually spend a lot of my time when I'm alone at home in silence. I love it. So yeah, and it's important, I think, in this fast-paced world for us to find little things that we can do to just restore our nervous system and help us get into that parasympathetic nervous system where we rest, digest, because where all our healing takes place. It's where our body regenerates and all the magic happens, where we get our deepest sleep. So yeah, it's so important.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And
yeah.
do you have any recommendation for how many hours deep sleep? I'm saying deep sleep. Yes, you can have your time on to wind down and sleep, but do you think any research or evidence, or you have read it, that these many hours of deep sleep does help people rejuvenate?
Look, sleep's a really big topic, and I don't wear a watch because I'm sensitive to watches. I used to stop them, but nowadays everyone wears digital watches. Me personally, doesn't resonate with me because the last thing I want is that energy in my directly on my body. I mean, a mobile phone
Yeah.
is enough having that. So I've never monitored my sleep, but what I've learnt is going to bed earlier, I get better quality sleep before midnight. So
Mm,
I try and get into bed at 9:30, 9:30. 9:30 is my absolute switch off
mm,
last, and I have no idea what sleep I get because I don't monitor myself with watches or devices. But I know just within myself, I feel a lot more refreshed for
yeah.
doing that. And then I get up early and have that morning time before I start my day of just filling up my love cup and connecting to myself. So yeah, I don't know how many, I don't know what the statistics are. It's been a long time since I've researched sleep, so I couldn't give you that answer, unfortunately.
That's
Um,
okay.
I
That's a
would say for at least, but you go through different stages of sleep. Obviously, I balance that with people. Now, I can't remember what the answer is of how much you do need, but definitely a sleep specialist would know the
Yeah,
answer to that.
yeah. I remember when I was talking to one of my coaches and psychologist, they said sleep is very important, and that's it. That was the answer. And I was like, okay, what do you mean by sleep? For I sleep all through night, I think. And then I read somewhere while I was educating myself, and they said like you mentioned, you just mentioned that there are stages of sleep that initially you will sleep, and sometimes you know how in sleep you will feel jitters, and
Mm.
that jitter is just before you get into your deep sleep.
Deep sleep, yeah.
And sometimes people just get scared if they get those jitters, and that's it. And when I read it, it was such a solace to me. And I said, oh, jitters are not bad because this is just body is preparing you to go into your deeper sleep. And that's it. And then I don't care. I said, okay, now I'm going into deep sleep. I know it. And yes, if I remember vaguely, I think everybody, every human, when the recovery takes place, a huge part of your recovery takes place is right, like you mentioned, is midnight to early hours of 1 a.m. or 1 or 2 a.m. that your deep recovery happens and you rejuvenate. And
Yeah.
that's when your magic power is there. And if you wake up, that's all right, because that is your, you have come out of your deep sleep, which is good, which is super good. And then another stage is that is your dream stage, that
Yeah.
you're still sleeping, but you're in your dream world. So that was lovely. That I have forgotten the book name that I read it, but it was fantastic. When I
Mm.
said, oh, this gives me solace that yes, I'm getting some kind of sleep, which is deep. And hydration was another thing that was mentioned, that, you know,
Mm.
how do you keep yourself hydrated? I know you're very big on that.
Yeah, and look, it is hard for a lot of people to do that and to drink a lot of water. I know that. So yeah, yeah, it can be hard, definitely. And it's all about just creating those little changes step by step. As they say, as I said before, you can eat an elephant one bite at a time.
Mm.
So, sometimes we might have a lot of things that we want to create change with. And what I think most people try and do is just flip into that space. It's like, no, you just create one little habit first, then layer on the next one, then layer on, you can't just go like that. So yeah, I think that's the challenge for a lot of people with creating change in their life, is trying to just flip the coin from one side to the other. And it's about creating techniques and daily practices that support you, and I always suggest to start off with the easier option first, so
Yeah.
you get that that win, that dopamine hit, and that success, that feeling, I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And just start creating those little things and reach out for support when you need to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What a beautiful advice, and what a beautiful way to end this. That, and
Mm.
I loved how, with such care and love that you offer, that I know it's not easy. And I know people, there is a lot of challenge that people want to flip it like that, but take
Mm.
one step at a time. And that, and I loved when you said, start with something easy that you think you can do it, because then there is a win and there is a dopamine hit. Yeah.
Yeah, so you
Okay.
get that satisfaction and it encourages you, because sometimes we are faced with challenges, and Deepak Chopra, which I'm sure a lot of your
Yes.
um, followers will follow, it too shall pass.
Absolutely.
Reminding ourselves of that. So, and observing when we are in that challenge, what feels uncomfortable, what's surfacing. Maybe that's what I need to look at, or maybe that's the area I need to get support with.
Mm.
Yeah, which sometimes it can be hard to admit or face different things.
Yeah.
And again, it's about us being ready for that journey, isn't it? So, and being kind to ourselves and know that we're doing our best,
Yes.
have
Yes.
love and acceptance.
Yeah.
That's all we can do, and yeah, and that's why I love the essential oils. They're still a huge part of my everyday life.
Mm.
They just help change the vibration without you even knowing it as well, because they have such healing properties, all the different ones for different support. So yeah, there's just follow what you feel drawn to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or whoever you feel drawn to, or something that, yeah, that you feel drawn to doing.
Yeah.
I think it's really important in this day of life being so fast, is to find ways to calm down our nervous system and connect to ourselves so we can switch off out of that fight flight.
Yeah, true. Another important thing. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, love that. Any last tips or advices that you would love to share with our listeners? And I'm sure you have shared already a lot. I know in the last few section only you give so many tips that we can do. But any last thoughts, any last tips that you can share with our listeners that they can do to make their life a little better, a little easier, then they think, oh my God, that the life is tough. Anything.
Look, I think just having love and acceptance for yourself and knowing that you're not alone and knowing that you can be supported. So sometimes the challenge is finding that motivation to step out of the space we're in as well when we're in a deep, dark space. But when that want and will becomes strong enough, you will find how you're going to do that. So yeah, I think just being kind to yourself, loving and accepting yourself, know that you're doing your best
Mm.
and enjoy life. And yeah, just be aware. But
Yeah,
sometimes it's hard to be aware when we're not aware. But just trust and believe in yourself. Yeah.
love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love that. Absolutely, Gem. It's okay not to be okay. Just give space to
Yeah.
yourself. And it is okay if you're not aware because sometimes you're not aware. Just
Oh.
trust in the
And
process.
that's why we're in that situation often, because we're needing to learn something. So it's okay to be in that space. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay not to know. Just bring love and acceptance for where you're at. I think it's the biggest thing. If people can just love and accept themselves, even when things aren't how we want them to be,
Mm-hmm.
just changes the whole energy of that. And know, remind yourself, it too shall pass. And yeah, just go through it, take each day as it comes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have so much love and gratitude for you, Belle. This conversation has been absolutely inspiring, and I'm sure our listeners would love it, what you have shared. Those tips, those gentle tips, are so important on a daily life, and that makes you a daily life hero. Thank you
No.
so much for sharing your life skills with us. I know it takes a lot of courage, and you have shown me that courage. You are so brave. And you have also shown me that it's okay not to be brave sometimes because that's okay too. So thank you. I am eternally grateful to you for your guidance and support that you have provided. And I celebrate you today and forever. Thank you
Oh,
so much.
thank you, Rachna, and thank you for trusting me as well, and feeling safe to go along the journey. And as I said, I've just helped reconnect you to find your way again. And it's so beautiful seeing that happen and seeing you in that space. And I'm so grateful that our paths crossed
Yeah.
uh, 9 years ago, and so grateful that we still have such a
Yeah.
beautiful connection.
Yes, and I can't wait together to rock again for some other topic for your book launch or maybe. And
Yeah, that's the challenge, because English, I'm not very good at spelling, and I used to be slightly dyslexic.
yeah,
And so I'm a lot better with that.
yeah,
But it's just figuring out, how do I even write a book? But I know there are a lot of people out there to help. So
yeah, yeah.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. No, it will happen. And I don't know when, but you will be the first that I will let know.
And we will celebrate that day and we will come back and rock together again.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
definitely. It
Thank
will
you.
be a few more years later in my life that will
Yes,
happen. You never know. That could come on my radar anytime. And
very
when I get that feeling and that draw and that pull towards that, absolutely.
good.
So yeah, yeah, it'll happen.
Yes. Thank you so much. And now back to my listeners. Sometimes the smallest step in the right direction ends up being the biggest step of your life. That's what Belinda believes in it. Go make your that step count. Go make that step shine and smile from your heart. Don't forget to share this with everybody. What Belinda says, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to not being aware. It's okay to take that step and celebrate whatever life has to offer and trust in the process. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much for joining us, and thank you so much for being here, Belle. I am so grateful. And back to listeners, please watch and share because there is so much gold in this conversation. Thank you so much. Bye, and we will watch it next
See
time.
you, Rachna.
See
Love.
ya.